Hey guys, welcome back to episode 20, season 20 of the Washington football team 20-year rebuild. If you guys are new here, my name is Green Machine Sam. I do content like this on Madden. I do roster updates for NBA 2K, and I do roster updates for Madden. I do all types of content as well. I'll do playthroughs, all types of stuff. If you guys like any of my content, I would appreciate it. Subscribe, turn on post notifications, and you guys can go check out all the latest stuff on my channel. But with that being said, let's get into season 20. So, it's the final season. This team's insane. This definitely isn't one of the best teams that we've built, but in terms of this season, but it's still a good team. I still expect them to go to the Super Bowl. But it's sad seeing this team come to an end. But a lot of guys are starting to regress. A lot of guys that we've known and, developed are going to be gone here sooner rather than later. Ash, one of our best safeties, who I thought for the longest time we were going to have to get rid of because he wasn't developing next to Gordon Davis. Austin Hawkinson, a guy that was in the low 80s hell forever. Ellabray, who was supposed to be a third linebacker, wasn't even supposed to be that good of a linebacker, shows up and becomes a superstar X Factor and has been one of the best defensive players in the league, let alone not even in the league, in the whole entirety of the league, in the whole, basically decade and a half that would be at this point of the league. Eric Ash has slowly become a superstar X Factor guy, even while regressing and entering his 30s. J.J. Maillard has been probably one of the top 3 left-handed kickers of all time. Lonnie Franklin has easily become the best defensive player this team has ever seen in just 4 short years. We've had guys come and go that were so good. We've had running backs. We had a running back that became the best running back ever. We've had wide receivers become, top of the league, top 5 guys. Steven Streets is still a top 5 guy, even though he's regressing and down to 98. This team has definitely been something special. Granted, luck's been on our side a little bit with development traits and stuff like that, but it's time to win one last Super Bowl. We ended up re-signing Lonnie Franklin just for the sake of, him getting his money finally. So after 4 years, being a 25-year-old corner now, making the transition from strong safety to corner, becoming the best corner in the league, quite possibly, he finally gets paid. But then we still had Slaughter, we still had Hawkinson, we still had Heath, we still had Coolidge, Maillard, Covington, Beckham, and just a couple other guys, and we just didn't really have the money. And so it's good that it's ending here. But at the playoffs, looking at the playoffs, we are the number 2 seed going into the 2039 playoffs. And, hopefully we can make it to the Super Bowl one last time for old time's sake, right? Austin Hawkinson really showing signs of regression. His yards are down. 3,600 yards, 33 touchdowns, 4 picks, 60 completion percentage. Completion percentage and yards are going down. Touchdowns are staying about the same. Interceptions actually went down as well. So, 1,000 yards for Cam Allen, 7 touchdowns. Brandon Marshall, 400 yards, 7 touchdowns. But here's where it's really fallen off the map. Nobody over 800 yards for the receivers. Everybody over 600 yards. Everybody with at least 4 touchdowns. Kai Arthur actually is the least with 4. 7 touchdowns for Biggers, Contreras, and Street. So they can make a combined total of 21. Offensive line is going to offensive line, of course. Kerry Daniels, 134 tackles, 16 for a loss. He's stepped up, taking that place for Brandon Ellabray. Brandon Ellabray, becoming a little bit older, is going to be slowing down a little bit more. So, where is he even at? I have no clue. But sacks, 18.5 for Orlando Phelps, 8 for Amos, 5 for Slaughter, 4.5 for Heath, 3 for Daniels. Interceptions, 4 for Franklin, 2 for Whitmore, 2 for Spence, 1 for Phelps, 1 for Ellabray, and 1 for Earl Wallace. Can't just say Wallace because he has a brother on the team called Travis Wallace. At least that's what I'm pretending. Anytime anybody has a last name, I just pretend they're brothers or they're cousins or something so that it sounds cooler. Especially if I'm drafting them. Just like Hawkinson, he has a brother in the NFL who was on the Seahawks for the longest time. I don't know if he still is. He actually got drafted by the Giants. Even though the Giants had Trevor Lawrence, or was it the Jags? I don't know. But anyway, MVP goes to a wide receiver. That's weird, but whatever. Alex St. Clair, wide receiver, I'm pretty sure. Hawkinson is at number 7 for Offensive Player of the Year. Orlando Phelps wins Defensive Player of the Year. After I think Cole Amos won that last year, so defensive tackles taking turns here. Offensive player, yeah, okay. Yeah, we already went through all that stuff. We ended up winning the first playoff game 24-17. I figured it wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't jump into it at all, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Beckham, one of our new centers, well, not new. He's been here for 2 years now. Second game, we ended up beating the Packers. The MVP, we sent him home, so that's pretty cool as well. And then, yeah, so team's been playing real nice. And then NFC Championship, we ended up beating the Saints by double the score. 2 takeaways, 121 rush yards. It's really going to help that. It's going to grind the game out. And I'm pretty sure he was in the MVP conversation too. But sending all types of guys home. Michael McLudden retires. We actually ended up, I think, losing the Super Bowl if I had to remember correctly. And then we're just going to take a look at some of the stats that we had. 212 total wins, 107 total losses. Only one tie ever. So career win percentage 66.3. Winning seasons 16. So we only had 4 losing seasons, and some of them were the earlier ones. Playoff wins 45. Playoff losses 8, 84.9% in the playoffs. 9 Super Bowl wins, 2 losses, so went to 11 total. Which 10 of them Hawkinson was part of. So he potentially, besides stats, really could be considered the GOAT. But 65,000 yards isn't nothing to be messed with. Chris Smart, one of our former QBs, also gets up there with 65,000 yards. So Hawkinson would have played probably 1 or 2 more years, but this is where the sim is going to end. So he would have easily passed up Deshaun Watson and Chris Smart, but I don't think he would have passed up anybody above Peyton Manning, I don't think. Touchdowns, he had 514. I think he would get past Peyton Manning. Nobody else, though. Drew Brees is too far away, I feel like. Saquon Barkley, he played basically all but, I think, 3 seasons with us, 3 or 4 seasons with us, had 18,000 yards. Really should have started him in his second to last season, but I was trying to get progression going. He would have been above 19,000 yards, which would have been cool. Maybe even closer to 20,000 as well. So, Saquon Barkley with the most rushing touchdowns as well. So he's definitely the best running back of all time. Cam Allen actually hops in there just above Nick Chubb with 116. Probably by next season, he would probably be above everybody. He would probably be above Marcus Allen, but nobody else. I don't think he'd quite get up to 136. And even if he did, he still has a decent ways to go to get to Damian Thomason. Wide receivers, it's hard to get into this list, especially when you look at Jerry Rice. It's hard to imagine somebody beating Jerry Rice's records. Career sacks, J.J. Watt's in there, Myles Garrett's in there, Ed Oliver's in there, Khalil Mack's there. Khalil Mack was on the team for I think a season or 2. Ed Oliver had been here since like season 5 or 6. So, but anyway, this was a fun little sim. 20 years. I actually got through 20 years. I was trying to do 50 years last year with the Dolphins, but I just didn't think that was possible. And with the development and everything, it was definitely hard last year, and the gameplay got real stale if I did try to play any of the games. Yeah, but, it's fun. It's definitely a fun series here. I'm gonna miss this series. It was a good series, but on to the next one. I think if you guys have seen anything on my channel, I don't think I'm gonna continue with the OKC Lancers rebuild or franchise. I just don't like it. I really don't. I don't know. Starting from that low is really tough, especially when you're trying to play the games. So I think I'm just gonna do a different series. I should have rebuilds coming out here soon. Again, I have a bunch of content planned out for MLB. The stuff that I can record, I'm going to be working a lot, basically from the time the game comes out until like 2 weeks later. So that sucks, but I'm going to try to pump out as much content on that. But season 20, it's a wrap. And I might have some other stuff planned for Madden this year. I'm still doing roster updates on 20, on 21, on NBA. So keep an eye out for those. But if you guys like any of my content, download any of my content. I'd appreciate a subscribe. I'd appreciate you guys to turn on post notifications and view some of my other stuff. Give some of my other stuff a chance. But with that being said, guys, I'm out. Peace. Go check out some of my other stuff down in the description.